Now, the subject that I'm going to use today is your problem is not your problem. So you know that's kind of different from what Pastor Bush usually preaches, right? But I'm talking about the fact that your problem is not your problem. And I'll get to a point in the lesson where I'll help you to see what your problem really is more than anything else. I guess to begin with in today's lesson, I want to talk about some of the things that should matter most to you in life. Things that should matter most in life. Now, when we start talking about matter, keep in mind that matter does not necessarily constitute something that you hold in your hand or something that you see with your eye. Matter is anything that has weight and takes up space. In this case, what I want you to see is that I have been ministering an entire series on vision, spending time there laboring to get you to understand that what should matter most is who you are, what your purpose is, and where you are headed in life. This is how God really wants to navigate you through life and help you live a successful life. Now, I thought about the word life in a corny way a few times this morning, and when I spelled it, L-I-F-E, I thought life, living in faulty evolutions. Is that how a lot of people live? You know, an evolution is a what? It's a circle. It's a cycle. When you look at your life, do you see faulty or failing evolutions? If so, you're not experiencing what God intended for you to be experiencing. Look with me in John chapter 10, verse 10, just for a moment. Because here, to live in faulty or failing evolutions really means to live contrary to the will of God. Jesus said here in John chapter 10 and verse 10, the thief cometh not but for to kill, to steal, and to do what? Destroy. But I have come that you might have life, and that more abundantly. Now, the word life is interesting here. The word life means Zoe, life as God lives it, life as the Father has it in himself, and life as the Son has lived to demonstrate in the earth. So the life that he really came to give us is Zoe. It's really a life that has to be lived from the inside out, and I hope you can hear me now, rather than from the outside in. Now, there's a reason why he came to give you a different kind of life. The thief comes not but for to kill, steal, and destroy. And how does he do it? By making you think that external things matter more than your inside does. That how people think about you and what people think about you and how people feel about you and what they're saying about you matters more than the quality of who you are inside of you. Do you realize that you could spend all of your life, L-I-F-E, distracted by something that should not really matter? And so when we say matter is anything that has weight, it takes up space, I need you to understand that what really matters is what's on your mind. What really matters is what's really becoming your priorities. Because your quality or your state of the state of your life or the quality of your life will be born from how you deal with life by way of priorities systematically. So, irregardless to who you've been and what you've been and how you've dealt with life up to this point, when you come to church, you got to realize that worship is to get us to the other side of worry. And the reason why worship has to get us to the other side of worry is because the Word wants to teach us how to live. And if you have not learned how to live from the Word, you're going to be boxed in by worry because life has a great deal of worry to offer you. One reason after another, after another, after another. I remember not long ago I was preparing a eulogy, and that's something I don't do. And I just noticed that all of a sudden, while I was sitting down one day I began thinking about words of comfort and eulogies because, God always purposed me to know that I didn't call you to be the undertaker. And I didn't call you to, to be teaching people about dying. I put you in this earth to keep people alive, to teach them how to live. That's what Jesus came for. Well, anyway, one day I was preparing a eulogy, and it occurred to me that the more people you know, the more people you are connected to, the more people you befriend, the more people you associate with, the more grief you experience, the more sorrow you encounter. Now, the closer people are to you, the more you experience the sorrow and the pain of loss. So the more people you are close to, the more you experience sorrow and pain. Are you listening to me? It's just a part of life's association. I need you to understand that. Now, why is this important? This next series of lessons is going to head towards helping you think about yourself as a resource for exchange. Because I need you to help you understand that if you don't see your life from the perspective of, I am an estate. I'm not just a house. I'm an estate. I've got children. I've got a spouse. We own things. And in order for me to make those things better, I have to do upgraded thinking. In order to do upgraded thinking, there's some things about me that has to change, right? Even Einstein said, this thinking has created some problems for me that this thinking cannot solve. Your thinking currently always has the power and the potential to put you into some stuff that it can't get you out of. And that is why you need to always live with a hunger. Hungry for something other than what you've already got. Are you listening to me? Now, remember I said your problem is what? Not your problem. I'm going to solve it in just a few minutes, but I need you to understand here that to deal with problems correctly, you need to, first of all, handle life from the perspective of what matters most. Follow me for a moment. Some of you are single, some of you are married. When you start making decisions about life, those decisions may or may not connect you to other people. When they start connecting you to other people, they become a weightier matter because now they demand from you an exchange greater than an individual you was responsible for. Now you got to assume responsibility for a word by way of character called integrity. That is, whenever you give your word, you're supposed to do what? Keep it. If you're going to be like Jesus, you're going to have to learn how to say something and do it. You know why a lot of people don't trust God? Because they hang around people that they can't trust. And so you teach yourself how to handle God by the kind of associations you have with people. That's why the Bible says, God said, I don't allow a liar to tarry in my sight. God ain't going to hang out around liars because he's all about the truth. And see, truth is important because only the truth can set us free. But one of the primary reasons why truth is so important is because truth begets trust. A man who always lives by subjecting himself to truth is a man that you can eventually trust because he will prove himself to live a free life based upon a set of principles that are word-driven. So Jesus said, I came that you might have what? Life, and life more abundant. So the quality of your life after you come to know Jesus should be upgraded rather than downgraded. It should get better rather than worse. But now a lot of people are saved, but not looking so. It almost appears that salvation has done us no better than just existing without the knowledge of Jesus. Look at what his primary purpose was. Look at it again. Everybody just gaze at it. John 10, I can give you one verse. He said, the thief came to steal your life, to kill you, and to destroy you, to defeat your life, in other words, right? But I have come for one reason, and what was that? To give you life that more abundantly. So I really want to make your life better. Say this with me. The quality of my life should be getting better. All this church, my life should be getting better. Now, let's let that saturate for a minute, because people can go to church like going to a restaurant. They can go to church like going to work. People can go to church, man. And when they get to church, they are ready to perform. Really. It's amazing how performers in church really is not a sign of quality life. Church performance is not a sign of quality life. Church performance is not a sign of quality life. We perform it. We look spiritual. We sound spiritual. We seem spiritual. Come on. We appear to have it going on. And life is slipping by, passing by, as if we have never learned anything from the cycles that we live in. So I guess my first question there is, are you living in what's called living in failing evolutions, faulty evolutions, or are you living in faithful evolutions, faith-filled evolutions? Or are you living in fact-filled evolutions? Because some people have the ability to pretend that life is something that is not. I don't want you to live that way here at Crown. I really don't. You know, some folk, as long as they can have a buddy that they can talk to about other people, they're happy. So there's some issues that matters in the kingdom. You know, church folk can do church without ever forgiving, as if they never offend. That's something we got to talk about. Because to live without being a swift forgiver is to live without the grace of God permeating and resonating in your life. It cuts God's hand off in your life if you cannot forgive. Go with me to Mark 11, 23, 24. Let's just read there for a moment. Today I'm just going to kind of ramble. I'm pastoring a little bit. I need to get somewhere and help you see that there's some things that matters most. Some of you don't realize that you're going to have exchanges with people. Just as sure as you're human or a human being, hanging around humans doing, you're going to find a great deal of dysfunction between you and them. Notice I did not just say them, did I? Now, notice what he says here first. Don't go to verse 23. We're always on the mountain dealing with that exchange. I want you to look here at verse 24 and then 25 and 26. That's what I want us to focus on. Let's read it together. Come on, everybody. Therefore, I say unto you, what things soever you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them, and what will happen? Keep going. And when you stand praying, forgive. Now, I want everybody, just for a moment, this will help for exercise. I want you to look up. Let's spell the word forgive. Ready? Go. See, y'all had to hesitate. Just think for a minute. we do so little swift forgiving till it's almost hard to spell. It's amazing. That word, come on, one more time. Let's spell forgive. Ready? Go. Now notice, if you break it into syllables, it's two words, right? For, do what? It seems like he's really trying to tell us we are living for giving. And if you don't learn how to live to forgive, you're not going to have a quality life. Now notice what he says in the next verse. Ready? Go. What now? If you do not forgive. Now, I need to ask you all a question. Who is your father? Maybe the question we need to ask is, who is your father and where does he live? Because he says here, the one that lives in heaven will not forgive one of his children who do not forgive one of his children. Now, it sounds like to me, forgiveness is a big deal with Daddy. And it also seems like then there must be a swift adjustment in our hearts if we're going to be examples of what Daddy is. If we're going to be imitators of our Father, we're going to have to learn how to do this thing called what? Forgive. So it's kind of like I'm in a relationship to what? I just met you to, we're having an exchange so I can, see, we don't look for that. Here's what we do. We've turned it into our own little grammatical phraseology, and we say, I'm connected to you so you can give to me. We get rid of the for, forgetting that the person that you're going to be connected to or the people that you're a part, whose life you will be a part of, are going to always need you to be a swift, because the closer you get to them, the more you see who they really are. Now, here's two things that you need to always understand about life from now on. The closer you get to people, the more likely it is that you will see who they are. But then the closer you get to people, the more difficult it will be for you to tell them something good for them. Okay, that maybe went over your head. Let's try it one more time. The closer you get to people, number one, the more likely it is that you're going to see who they really are. Now, that requires LOVE in its truest form. You don't really know how much you love me till you see who me really be. Who I appear to be in this suit ain't who you think I really am. You need to understand, when you look at me, I'm deeper than your eyes can see. There's more to me than meets the eyes. In fact, I'm history walking. I'm a compilation of information, experiences, involvements, exchanges, associations, bad decisions, bad exchanges, good. Are y'all listening to me? Growth. I've been dumbed down in some areas. I've become intellectual in some areas. I'm a student. I'm a compilation of everything that's consistent with the development of character for being. So when you see me, you may not really meet me till later on. That's why it's very, very critical that before you really say you love me inner court style, you might need to learn a little bit more about me. See whether you can hang in there with me once I start showing you who I. Oh, shoot. See, here's what people close to you suggest to you about life or living with you eventually. That I cannot hide from me but for so long. I can hide me from you for a little while, but if you're going to stay with me, eventually you're going to catch me being me. See, Superman does not wear that suit every day. He only puts it on under pressure. Come on now. And see, in the relationship, in the beginning of a relationship, we're under pressure. I'm under pressure to show you a super me. So all I introduce you to is things that you admire about me. So your admiration level, it peaks because every time he does it, he crosses his T's, he dots his I's, and oh, I love the way he combs his hair. Why? Because I found out how you like it. And I love the colors. Why? Because I found out what colors you like. So I've already studied what you like because I want to be your super. But even Superman has downtime. And in that time, he goes back to being the bumbling idiot at the Daily Planet known as Clark Kent. Y'all understand what I'm saying? He wants Lois Lane, but he don't have enough charisma to attract her, not being Clark. Come on now. As Clark, she's not interested in him at all. But boy, when he puts that S on his chest and starts to dealing with mess, then he can't get rid of her. She becomes a pest. Are you listening to me? Well, what are you trying to say, Pastor? I need you to understand here that you don't really meet people until you get close to them and have the opportunity to associate with them frequently. So the reason why he said every time you pray, the first thing you do is forgive. Now, I want you all to just understand something about forgiveness. I'm going a different route because you hear so many messages on everything. I'm going a different way on forgiveness because I want to teach you something that may stick with you. Forgiveness means if it don't matter no more than that to God, why are you holding it? If he can let it go 490 times a day, why are you carrying it since yesterday? Now, he said to you, dealing with your own life, you've got some problems that's going to arise just because tomorrow comes. Every day has its own set of worries. Now, why are you bringing some of yesterday's mess with you that cannot be changed, that will never be erased? Why are you carrying that in as a form of baggage into your tomorrow, when tomorrow already going to have its own set of mess for you to deal with? So here's why people don't enjoy life. They got too much of yesterday in their present tense. And they ain't ready for tomorrow because they can't unload yesterday. People who cannot unload yesterday will definitely not enjoy today. And if you're not enjoying today, you're too frustrated to look forward to tomorrow.